August is National Breastfeeding Month, a month dedicated to educating women and families on the importance of breastfeeding. Kara recently spoke with Dr. Andrea Christian-Parks to learn more.
Good morning, doctor. I'm so excited to speak with you because I think a lot of women watching now are in an area where they might be trying to learn about breastfeeding or newly breastfeeding. So we always hear that breast is best with newborns. And talk a little bit about why that is.
Well, breast milk is what I like to think of as designer milk. It is crafted especially for that particular baby by that mom. So I tell my patients that's Louis Vuitton milk. That is the stuff that is made for your baby. So if you had a preterm baby, that milk has higher fat content to help that baby gain weight faster. If you had a baby who needs protection from a virus that's been going around and you've got antibodies to give to that baby. So it's specially made for that baby. And that's why it's so critical that if we can, breastfeeding is done.
I love that. I have done it 3 times, some more successfully than others. So let's talk about the mother for a minute. How important is diet and nutrition when we are breastfeeding for us?
Well, it's hard when you're a new mom because there's so much going on and you're super busy and you've maybe got one arm available. So to feed yourself is a challenge, but the better you can do, the better quality milk you make for that baby. So if you can drink lots and lots of water, at least for sure you can get a glass in one hand and get that water in. But more fresh fruits and vegetables, things that are whole foods, anything like that actually just makes a better quality milk, as opposed to the easy stuff, the processed food, which is so tempting, but just doesn't make the best quality milk. If you can get somebody to cook for you, take all the help you can get.
I love that. Great tip. Okay, so what are some tips for those who are having trouble with breastfeeding? I feel like we get so stressed out, but give us any tips we can use.
So first of all, let me just say, if you can't breastfeed for whatever reason, there are times when it's just not possible and mom is under so much stress that actually isn't good for the baby. So if you're having trouble, just take a deep breath and know that there are formulas because some people can't breastfeed and the baby will be fine. The point is for you and your baby to be connected. However, if you're in that place where you're like, well, I'm breastfeeding, I don't know if I'm making enough, I don't know if I'm doing what I need to do, is the baby doing okay, all that sort of thing, and you're questioning, there's help. There are people out there. First of all, your doctor, your pediatrician should be able to absolutely jump in and help. Your obstetrician can help some. There are lactation consultants. There are doulas. There's all kinds of people who have special expertise in breastfeeding and can help you troubleshoot. So don't try to do it alone. Unfortunately, our society hasn't always been real supportive of breastfeeding. So sometimes we don't have generational help. We don't have our aunties or our moms who are able to really help us when we have babies and get into breastfeeding because they didn't do it. So just know you don't have to be alone. There are professionals to help. And maybe if you're successful, the next generation will also be successful.
I love that. I think the through line that you've said a few times is get help. If you can get help, utilize that lifeline. And also to what you said too, my mother said it wasn't in vogue to breastfeed in the 70s, and her grandmother and her mother told her it wasn't, the thing to do. So you're exactly right with that. Sometimes we can't ask our moms for help. So let's talk about how we know when our child is getting enough to eat while breastfeeding. I know that's always a concern when we start.
Yeah, it's so challenging because we're used to looking at the little markings on a bottle that say how many ounces and this is how much the baby needs for feeding. And you can't do that with breastfeeding. But there are indicators that your baby is getting enough with exclusive breastfeeding. Number one, they need to be making wet diapers and having bowel movements. And as long as your baby is making plenty of wet diapers and having bowel movements, and when you're going to your checkups with your pediatrician, the baby is gaining weight, then you are doing just fine. The baby is getting exactly what it needs. If there's questions, the pediatrician would tell you and say, I think maybe you need a supplement. The weight gain's not what it should be. Or maybe we see a lactation consultant and let them help you. And when you see one of them, they actually will help you see how much milk you're giving that baby by weighing the baby at the beginning of the visit and at the end. So then you have a better idea of what's actually happening. But that's only if you need it. For most people and most babies, all you need to know is the baby is having lots of wet diapers and is gaining weight just like they're supposed to on schedule.
Thank you so much. I think you've empowered us all and given us some great information. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Yes, such important information. I missed that little phase. Oh, thank you to Kaiser Permanente, Georgia, for sponsoring that segment.